Hey guys, I'm Victoria and welcome back to Femhead. Today I want to talk about why I do not teach how to chart your cycle on YouTube. A few people over the past have asked me to explain how to do it via YouTube. And when I was in their position, when I was first trying to learn how to chart and get more information about it, I headed to the internet and I went to YouTube like many people do in search of information. And I was kind of frustrated that I couldn't find more information about it on YouTube and why I couldn't find some a video explaining how to do it. And I guess that's because from my perspective then, it was a lot simpler than I thought it was. And while it is simple and it is easy to learn, it just takes some time. I don't think that YouTube is the correct platform for that. I think it's a great place to promote charting your cycle, but I don't think it is a place to actually sit down and teach it. And I want to talk about that today. So when women, young women, older women come to me wanting to learn how to chart, want to learn more about fam, this is an investment in time and energy. Like, you have to sit down and be focused with it. I tell them to give themselves about 3 months to kind of learn it all and for it to start making sense, because it is a lot of information and it doesn't necessarily make sense at first and it can be overwhelming. So I tell people, give yourself 3 months of charting, of learning, to start seeing it fit into place and make sense, and from there you continuously learn. I have been charting my cycle for a few years now, and I am continuously learning more and more about my cycle, my body, and how to chart correctly, and different little oddities that come up that weren't something I had to deal with 2 years ago or whatever it may be. There are these two groups of people, of women, I suppose, learning to chart their cycles, maybe 3. And I think the most common reason that women get into charting their cycles is because they're trying to conceive, they're trying to get pregnant. And that is obviously very different from the second group of people that want to use it as a form of birth control. And then there are other people that just want to learn more about their bodies. And there is so much that goes into charting. You have to learn how to correctly take your basal body temperature, how to check your cervical fluid, and how to decipher what your cervical fluid is telling you. You have to learn about the different phases, the guidelines for those phases, the different rules, and then on top of that, how to fit all of this together into an effective form of birth control. That is a lot of information, and you could never fit all of this into a 5 to 10 minute video. And I find that sometimes you even have issues getting people to watch a 5-minute video. And so you may say, okay, we'll make a series explaining it, but I can't guarantee that someone is going to watch all 3 or 5 episodes or whatever it may be. It would take a number of videos for me to explain charting and all the realm of it and the beauty of it to someone. I can't guarantee they're going to sit down and watch every single video. And the reason I say this is because there's already enough misinformation and negativity being spread around about charting your cycle and the sympto-thermal method and FAM. People saying, well, it didn't work for me, like this is a load of crock, like I can't believe you're promoting this. And so there's this negative little sphere of things orbiting around FAM and charting your cycle, and I don't want to promote that by not giving out complete information, because unfortunately there are women out there that don't learn a charting method correctly and completely, and therefore don't practice it completely and correctly, and that raises their chance pretty high to getting pregnant. They're well-meaning and they want to go out and share that it didn't work for them, and they go online and bash it and say, well, it didn't work, it's not effective, don't do it, you're going to get pregnant. And then women that are coming online to find information about charting and FAM, the sympto-thermal method, or whichever method it may be, will see these comments and they will be deterred and into looking into it themselves. And so while there was one person that didn't maybe practice it completely and correctly, they could potentially deter someone that would practice it correctly and completely. And that's the kind of the sticky in between that I'm trying to avoid. And one example of this is I actually had a woman critique me on one of my videos for promoting FAM as a form of birth control because it hadn't worked for her. But then she went into explaining this Frankenstein method that she had been using that had failed her 3 or 4 times. As I was reading through it, I was just going, oh no, like of course it didn't work for you because you weren't even practicing it. You weren't even practicing a correct form, a real form of charting. You can't just cherry pick pieces that work for you. You have to choose a method and learn it completely and stick to that method. You can't pull bits and pieces and different rules, because rules are made for certain methods for a reason. And on top of that, there's so much more that goes into charting than taking your temperature and checking your cervical fluid. You have to learn how your body works, how your fertility works, how your menstrual cycle works. And I think those are very important components to charting as a whole. And while I don't teach teach it on YouTube. I do want to teach it. I do want there to be a platform for women and girls who do want to learn it. I have our courses and one-on-one coaching, and I do teach these, but I teach them on a different platform that I have more control over. And I do this because I want to create environment. I want to create a space where more positivity surrounding the method. And not to mention that you have to be oh so careful when offering advice on YouTube, because people will jump down your throats when you give any sort of semblance of medical advice. All the time on my channel, I have to say, listen, I'm not a doctor. This is just me sharing my experience and my advice. And I say that over and over and over again. I overthink everything I say on YouTube. I write out my notes for what I'm going to say in my videos because it matters down to the words that you use, because people will pick that apart and tear you apart for it. And I want to create a happy, safe, welcoming environment for those wanting to learn FAM. I want to create this complete learning experience for these people, for these women, because I want them to realize the importance of it, realize like the magic and the power of it, and that it is this amazing thing. But you have to take the time, you have to learn it completely, you have to learn all the different elements, and you have to stick to those elements. It's not this wishy-washy method that you can, oh, maybe I feel like it today, I don't really feel like it today. You have to stick to it, and you have to be committed, or else it will fail you. But if you learn it correctly and you practice correctly, it is a very effective method. And that is kind of what I have to say today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!